The adversary is sending out his minions to try to combat this truth. You know, prophecy says that there are going to be other books and other information that is supposed to be coming out here at the end. We're supposed to be getting our knowledge, understanding given back to us once again. Now you got people who are in these churches and things like that who are trying to still talk about, well, are these books any good? Or people are talking about these other books. And it's funny how Berean was talking, he used a clip from, let me show you guys, from Pastor Gino Jennings talking about other books. So if you want to go check out the video, this part starts about 23 minutes into the video. But it's funny because, I've been teaching out of different books for years now. And all of a sudden we got people talking about lost books in the church and stuff like that. And he's referencing how, the Bible will be making references to other books. And then these people these people are like, well, just because it's written in the Bible, it talks about does that mean these books are any good? Well, it talks about, how they've done the textual criticisms and the exegesis and this, and that. And I'm like, okay, hold on real quick. Hasn't it been these churches that have been the ones that have been set up to keep you out of these books? So therefore, they're going to make all of these, they can have you run around in circles trying to prove this and prove that. But these are the ones that have been the ones responsible for hiding all of our books. So of course they're going to tell you that, oh, this isn't good, this isn't. But under what authority? What authority what was given you to tell people what they can and cannot read? See, the reason that you guys are done that, well, they talk about how, well, hey man, these books, these books were only showed up in the Middle Ages. These books only showed up at this time. And how do we know these books are ancient? How do we know? Because this is a brand new book. It said it got this out of the Vatican. Well, hold on. Who are the ones? The bigger question is, why are these books barely being found right now? Who are the ones that were attacking people that had these books? See, you got to go back to the Inquisitions. You're just giving them a pass because the fact that you're barely finding these books is one thing. But you're not talking about why people would be hiding these books, why they would be getting buried with these books, why they were burying them under their homes, why they were hiding them in all these different places. You don't talk about that. Who are the ones that were responsible for people having to hide books? The Catholic Church, the Christian Church. They were the ones that were persecuting people for having these books. If you had these books in your possession, you could be killed. You could be subject to the Inquisition, which pretty much is they could do whatever they want. They're going to torture you. They're going to kill you. If you were caught printing these books, your businesses would be ruined. You could be in prison for life. So it's like you can't just talk about the fact that these books are barely being found, but then you ignore the fact that the Inquisition, which was the Catholic Church, was responsible for forcing people to hide these books. You say the church fathers had all of these, great understanding, and we got to follow what the church fathers say and things like that. But right here it says the Jews were legally the property of the rulers of the lands and kings and his princes. And who were the ones that set this up? Just go on down. But generally speaking, the Jews in Spain, as in all of Christian Europe, were regarded as the personal property of the king. This principle followed directly from the teaching of the church fathers that the Jews were doomed to eternal servitude. So I'm supposed to be consulting with these kinds of people. I'm supposed to be going, trying to listen to what they say in order to determine what I read. They can read the scriptures and they can pretty much say that we are, they can put us in eternal servitude. We can be in eternal servitude. So I'm supposed to trust people who come up with this doctrine to dictate what I can and cannot read. You don't think they're going to skew things? You don't think they're going to hide information that's going to try to goes against what they're saying? Of course they are. These are the same people that, ignore all of the old paintings, all of the old depictions of the Israelites, and they make everyone white. I'm supposed to believe that they're going to tell me the truth, right? That they don't have an agenda. These are the same people that say that we are African Americans, that we don't have a history, that we were never here, that we were all brought over from Africa. These people are going to tell us the truth, right? So therefore, I'm going to have to try to go through the way they say things like, hey, you got to go through textual criticism. How do we know if this is correct? How do we know if that is correct? Have they proven anything? These people still tell me that I'm African American. These people say that we've all come from Africa and that we were never here and that the Bible is not our book. But old writings and old depictions show that these scriptures are all ours. But I'm supposed to actually have to go to them and figure out how I'm supposed to dictate, find out what I can read and what I can't read. I'm supposed to let these people dictate those things to me. People that do this kind of stuff right here. These are old depictions of the Israelites. And you can see what they look like. But they're going to tell me the truth about what I can and cannot read. Okay. See, a lot of you guys are just Popeites. You believe whatever the Pope says and you don't question anything. Here in a part in the middle here it says, Fathers of the Church answered with the Inquisitors, and whole pages of their works castrated. Okay, consequences of this. Cardinal Baronius affirms that the Pope is the only lawful judge of books. Okay, to oppose Philip III of Spain on this occasion, asserts that it is scandalous for kings to pretend to judge of books. That was robbing St. Peter of his keys. Because they said the Pope's the only one that can dictate what you can and cannot read. So these guys, they come up with a whole science of, textual criticism. You got to go this, you got to do that in order to dictate what's good and what's not. These are people that the books were never given to in the first place. So of course they got to come up with some kind of tradition, some kind of way to make it seem as if they have authority and that they can dictate what you can and cannot read. And that's where you come up with all this exegesis and this textual criticisms and all this other things. But they never talk about the fact that their church was the one that was killing people for reading books. They don't prove the books wrong. They just say that it was wrong for you to read the books because they say so. And they say, because it's devil worship and this, and that. Maybe they didn't want you reading other books because this is from ISIS Unveiled. Again, another set of books that these people, were burning. There's very few of these books left because maybe they don't want you to realize that the Roman Catholic Church, just copied everything from the Hindus. They copied everything from the Egyptians. These are all different appellations or different titles of the Virgin Mary. And as you want to read for yourself, you can see that all they did was copy from the Hindus, copy from the Egyptians. Pretty much just cut and paste. They have a cut and paste religion. And the more that you read, the more you're going to find out that they did nothing original. Everything that they've done is copied from previous religions, from previous civilizations. There's nothing original about anything that they have done. In all their religion, everything else, they've copied from us. See, I got a book from Swedenborg who does all this other stuff, man, and he can't even get something like this right. You can't even get a layup right. You see what I'm saying? These people go in, they give all these different breakdowns because they can't just break these things down because it makes too much sense and it exposes them. Revelation 6:9. When he broke open the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slaughtered because of the witness they bore to the word of God. These would be the people that they killed in the Inquisition. They slaughtered people who had a testament of the word of God. Okay, they followed the Most High. They followed the covenant, and they were killed. And they're going to say, well, that's not what this means. This means that this is what's going to happen when the Antichrist shows up, because all they're doing is trying to hide their actions. They're trying to hide that they are the Antichrist, that they are the ones that have been anti the Most High. That's what's going on. That's why they say you can't read these books. You can't read that book, because they're trying to hide what they've done to our ancestors. Our ancestors, their history deserves to be brought out. Our ancestors' deaths deserve to be remembered. Our ancestors' deaths will be paid for, will be atoned for. Now, they don't want to do that. So therefore, hide books, hide history, hide anything that they're responsible for is not approved, not good. Don't read it. Okay? Anything that shows who the ancients were, that's not true. Oh, you're being racist. Anything but dealing with the problem, dealing with the information. So like I said, and they're also trying to use other people to broach these topics, like Pastor Geno Jennings. How often has he talked about other books? Now all of a sudden he's bringing information on other books. They just raise him up, have him say certain things so that they can talk about it, because they don't want to talk about what we're bringing over on this channel. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to bring that up. They've already talked about Jenny and Jeanines and everything else. So they'll talk about people that are in their circle, but they don't want to talk about anyone else, because the Most High is bringing way more information and things that they do not want to deal with at this point. Much love, family. Shalom.